Welcome everybody to the Infernal Brotherhood of the Scruffy Looking Nerf Herders.
Yeah.
This is a live YouTube vidcast by Star Wars fans for Star Wars fans, and it's fucking early today. Today we're going to be beginning our spoiler-filled review of the Book of Boba Fett with Chapter 1, Stranger in a Strange Land.
Oh, yeah. So this was directed by Robert Rodriguez, of course. It was written by Jon Favreau, and it was released this past Wednesday, December 29, 2021. And you are now in the future, because it's 2022. And
Right.
did we ever think we'd see a future with a Boba Fett series?
Not at all, and it is good. Little short, but
Yeah,
good.
I was really bummed at the length. It was like 39 minutes or 30 minutes?
38 minutes.
38.
Mm-hmm.
Way too short. But it did some really great things in sort of trying to catch up where Boba Fett left off in Return of the Jedi and where he is now. And, you know, I would have liked to spend a little bit more time, but I'm sure we're going to get continued flashbacks to spend that time in the past. But just sort of initial thoughts. What do you think?
I thought it was great, especially the whole him getting out of the Sarlacc pit.
Yeah.
Like that's how it was in the books.
Well,
so it was
Dengar helped
nice
him in
to-
the books, didn't he?
I didn't think so. I thought he just blasted his
someone
way
say that.
out.
Okay. I didn't
It
read
might
it,
be
so I don't
different.
know. I just heard
Because, I mean-
someone say that, and I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, no, I could have swore it was just him blasting his way out. Because it's fucking Boba Fett. That's what he
Yeah.
does.
Yeah, so was it more intestine-like inside or vagina-like inside?
I mean, if you're in deep enough, it's all the same, right?
It was funny because when he was in there, I was getting these weird flashes of Poltergeist with that
Yeah.
dog creature, and he had like all these like weird spindly things, and it was very like there was this tunnel going into the afterlife, and I was like, wow, that's a really messed up vagina. And then Boba Fett's in there, he's all like squeezed in. I was like, huh. It's a little darker, but not so unlike Spielberg's version of the afterlife. No, I just thought it was a little weird. I like that he like the fact that there's no oxygen in there, and so he's like waking up in this sort of panic, and he sees that stormtrooper, and he just sort of knows what he has to do to get air and stuff.
Yeah, genius.
The idea of slowly being digested over 1,000 years is terrifying when part of that is realizing you have no air and you're just going to suffocate and die.
Right. I mean, at least it wouldn't be for 1,000 years that you'd be tortured. So, I
Right.
mean, there's that, I guess.
I wonder how long that stormtrooper was in there before.
Had to have been a minute.
Because he was just like, did he come down like with the original search team for the droids for R2 and C-3PO?
He
Or,
probably just
like,
laid
from A New
down
Hope?
somewhere. Was like, I'm going to take a nap right here. This should be safe.
Wah!
Yeah.
That'd be pretty awesome. All right. Yeah, I really liked this as initial thoughts. I don't know why
Same.
anyone would complain at all, because we would never have had this otherwise.
Right.
So what are they basing their complaints off of? And of course, people are just entitled, so they have to complain about everything. But you know, I thought it humanized Boba Fett in a way that we didn't get in The Mandalorian season 2. He
Yeah.
just came out like a badass, you know,
Fuck
this
yeah.
sort of monster risen. And so this gave us that sort of interim point, and it brought a little bit of humanity to him, saying, no, he's not invincible. He's just a bounty hunter who's trying to change the direction, the course of his life into crime lord territory. And I kind of like that, because then it takes it away from being this Jason Voorhees type character into a sort of Tony Soprano type character.
Yeah.
Which I like a lot.
Definitely see it.
It was very cool.
I would watch that crossover.
Well, we're watching it right now, I think.
He needs a machete.
Oh, dude. Well, I mean, he almost had it with that gaffy stick or that stun baton.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. Do you want to do a walkthrough of the show?
Yeah. So, I mean, it pretty much starts off with him crawling out of the Sarlacc pit and then immediately passing the fuck out, which was great because then he gets robbed by the Jawas that we later, see.
Yeah, and we know Cobb Vanth got it from those Jawas. His army.
Yeah. And that shit was great, man. The thing I loved about this is he just gets his ass kicked. Like, we all think of him as just like this big badass dude, and just this entire episode is just people laying him out. Like, he's fucking trying to get his shit back, slowly coming to, grabs Jawa. Jawa just walks up and pop, and then he's fucking out.
I can't think of Jawa. I can't see Jawas without thinking of Janna now.
Yeah, same.
I was just like, TD. I was like, Janna.
Yeah, I still need to make her one of the new gray ones. That shit's dope.
So awesome.
But yeah, so then, he comes back to, he's meandering through the desert as you would, and then gets his ass kicked by some Tuscans. Which, I mean, that's a given. Like, one-on-one, no special weapons. Like, a Tuscan's gonna fuck your shit up. Like, they're just straight up warrior culture.
I like how they approach Tuscans. We got a glimpse of it in episode 4 very briefly, but then we go back to episode 2 and we see a little bit more about it. Mandalorian gave us a whole new tone to the Tuscan Raiders, I thought. And then this is just playing off of that idea. I like that they develop out the Tuscans so that it is a culture and not just a monster.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of what we were just led to believe. Oh, it's just another desert monster. But no.
I mean, that's just fucking colonialism in a nutshell.
Exactly. That's really part of what I loved about it, is that we're getting this sort of native people's tone. And I don't know if we're going a little more Mongolian with the Tuscan Raiders in this version or not, but I like it. Like, I just kind of dig their culture. And especially when you see the individual drapings and looks of your chieftain and your main warrior, which I thought was going to be a shaman, just the way it looked. They look a little different, and I really like that.
Yeah, that's one thing I did like, definitely seeing different aspects. Because, I mean, really the only time that you see a female is in episode 2, I believe. And completely fucking different makeup. Like, not the same kind of mask or anything like that. And here they're all just the same people, just different, like, drapes on them.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's cool that it varies from tribe to tribe.
Yeah, it does feel, I don't know, it feels bigger is all, and I really like that idea. Yeah, what did you think of his flashbacks when he was initially in the pod, and he was getting flashbacks of episode 2 with his dad's helmet? And
I was wondering if they were going to do that, and that was pretty fucking great. Because, I mean, really, if you're going to do a story on Boba Fett, you have to start with his origins.
Yeah.
And, I mean, really, that's when he came into his own. I mean, that's when he donned his father's helmet or armor and started being a badass.
So some people I heard online were trying to use that as a justification that they're going to bring Mace Windu back. Do you think that's even a possibility?
I don't even see how that would be a thing, to be honest. We watched him die, but I mean, then again, we also watched Boba Fett die. Yeah. So whatever. I'd be sold. He's one of my favorite fucking Jedi, so I will always take more Mace Windu.
Yeah, I personally don't want to see it. I think it'd be cool if it happened, but I don't need it. I'm fine with it. I think all they were doing was laying groundwork for who the character is.
And that's what I took it as.
Yeah. They weren't trying to do any world building at that point, I don't think. But, seeing Kamino again, even in that brief shot, I thought was just awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Knowing that it's going to be destroyed
yeah.
shortly later. And then seeing him with the helmet. I can't look at him holding his dad's helmet without wanting to see a head fall out of it.
Right?
Like,
every single time.
Like, it should happen. Why isn't the head falling out of the helmet?
Because he talked to Qui-Gon Jinn right before he got decapitated.
Oh.
So he figured it out.
It bugged me, man. Every time I see it, I'm just like, come on. Just like, like jelly, like cranberry sauce out of a jar.
Right.
Jango Fett. Eyes and tongue all lolling. Oh.
Great. That would have definitely tied the movie together.
Yeah, so I really like that he's forced to have these sort of dream flashbacks in this sort of healing state. I also like the fact that they're sort of condensing over time. You're seeing technology and bacta tanks evolve from being this huge tube that Luke is in to a sort of a tanning bed for him.
Yeah.
And then later we see it with Finn, the doofus, in his bacta suit. bringing
Yeah,
leaks and stuff in the sequel trilogy. But just as far
I
as the
can do without
technology
that.
goes, I like seeing that progression
Hmm.
to smaller
Yeah, no,
scale.
and it makes sense. Like, how would they not like progress like that,
Yeah,
especially at that speed?
yeah, no, I totally agree. Um, and then we get to see this sort of procession of people coming in that he is now taking control of
Hmm.
and just giving him tribute until we get that Twi'lek on behalf of the mayor, who is really just, I don't know. It took me out seeing his reactions, but some people really loved it. How did you take it?
Oh, I totally bought it. It seemed like a fucking politician,
Yeah.
very slimy and weaselly. Yeah,
I love that he's like, well, our tribute is going to be a heartfelt congratulations. And
yeah,
where's our tribute?
right. It's like that's not how it works, motherfucker.
Well, I was a little bummed because it didn't seem like Boba Fett really knew what he was doing. He was like,
Hmm.
wait a second, he's supposed to give us tribute. Like, you
Hmm.
wouldn't say that if you knew that. And there's no reason why you have to tell us that as the audience, because it just makes me think that you really don't know what you're doing.
Oh, I think that's the whole idea. Is he doesn't know what he's doing. That's part of the reason why he has Fennec on his side. Is she does know what's up. He's just used to fucking like being a bounty hunter.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then again, so is she. But she's also a badass. So
Yeah,
whatever.
she's a straight up assassin. I like how
Hmm.
he introduces her as that too. This is
Yeah.
the master assassin, Fennec Shand.
Yeah.
Like, so where's my tribute again? Seeing those Twi'leks come up and like, can I clean your helmet? I'm just like, oh yes, you may.
Yeah.
Yes, please. I really did like sort of the making the rounds, and she's like, you should have been on a cart or a lift or whatever they called it.
Hmm.
And he was like, no, I walk on my own two legs. And she's
Right.
like, I'm gonna rule by respect, not fear. I was like, is that possible? Is that possible to be a crime lord? Even extrapolated out to real world, like a Italian mafia, a Don. Are you able to do it without fear? Do you think?
I don't think so.
I don't
Somebody
know.
has to fear you in order to be in power, and that's just like in general.
Yeah. I mean, if they
I mean,
respect you, they're gonna, they respect you fine, but that's not
mm,
gonna make them pay you.
right?
I mean,
Yeah, there has to be a certain level of fear. Otherwise, I mean, fuck, you're just some dude.
yeah. I mean, it's even in our marriages,
Hmm.
there has to be fear. If I didn't
Yeah, you
fear
got to
my
smack
wife,
him around once in a while. That way they remember. Oh yeah, he does hit back sometimes. I can't just black his eye and expect no retaliation.
oh man. Yeah, so I don't know. I think is going to be this sort of there's going to be a come to Jesus moment for Boba Fett where he's like,
Yeah.
I'm going to have to bust some ass. I'm going to have
Hmm.
to kill some motherfuckers in order to get them to really respect me because clearly do you think it was the mayor that sent those assassins after him?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Or I mean it could be other crime bosses out
Hmm.
there just trying to
I,
squash competition.
I mean, that was my first thought, was that it was sent by the mayor.
Yeah, me too.
So, but I mean, it's not unheard of. I mean, it's a spaceport. It's a criminal enterprise. Like, yeah, it could be anybody.
Hmm. But they did. I mean, they were well equipped. They knew what they were
Hmm.
doing. There was a good little reaction force that they sent after him, and I like the idea that surrounded in that way, you don't really have much of an option. You're
Hmm.
you're kind of screwed. And if it wasn't for those Gamorrean guards, they might have been taken out.
That's the only thing I don't like about this episode.
What's that?
Like, they were all up Boba's ass and Fennec's ass up until right before the motherfuckers jump off the roofs. It's like, where the fuck did they go? Did they like find a snack or something and like, ooh, and just run off for a second? Like, it took those motherfuckers a while to get back.
Yeah.
Like, I want to know what the hell they were doing. That's the only thing that was sort of like, I don't know about that.
I wonder if they found
Like,
some truffles.
I mean, maybe,
They're like, oh,
but
hey, guy, there's
uh,
some truffles over here. Let's check this shit out.
I mean, I could see it. I mean, that there's a hell of an enterprise right there. Fucking space truffles. Fuck. That's
You don't
probably
need to
what
be a
got
crime
Job
lord.
all his money. Eh.
Yeah. No, that's true because they were like right on
Mhm.
him throughout
Yeah,
every
there's
scene.
fucking guards.
Yeah,
And
that was
then,
a little
yeah,
weird.
it's like as soon as the camera turns and they're getting ready to start jumping off the roof to fuck him up, they're just gone.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. their mysterious absence. But to their credit, they did come in and save him. And if it wasn't for them, he probably would have gotten his ass handed to him completely, if not straight up assassinated. And then they like drug him over and threw him in the back to tank, and we get to see that other flashback, which is just great. You know, the Tuscan Raiders think so little of those that they capture that they have their kids watching them.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if that's like tribute to their kids being tough, or if that's looking down on their prey so much.
It's probably a little bit of A and B. Plus, I mean, you got to teach the kids to be tough somehow, and you know, if they're in charge of the captives, that's a pretty good way to do it.
Yeah. What did you think about that creature?
Oh man, I have been racking my brain for almost a fucking week now, trying to remember what the hell it is, or if I've ever seen it before in this series.
I haven't.
It was interesting. It's like, oh, Lizard Goro, cool.
It was very Clash of the Titans for me.
Yeah, it's. I was thinking it was going to be a lesser crate dragon. Right. And then it stood up, and I'm like, that's not what they look like. So it was interesting. I mean, it was of course awesome to see it. You know, Boba just like fuck him up, Princess Leia style.
Yeah.
So that was cool.
Yeah, I still love how in what book was it? It was one of the newer Disney novels about Leia, where she was working in the Senate for the New Republic and stuff, and people would just call her like Jabba Slayer or a Hutt Slayer.
Yeah,
whenever they referenced her, I was like, yeah, yes, she is.
So, yeah, fuck, what one was that?
It was the one where the First Order was barely coming into the new Senate and sort of corrupting people, and they found out she was Darth Vader's son, so they didn't trust her, or daughter, they didn't trust her and stuff. And then it was her son that ended up saving her from a bombing with a note. Well, it alluded to that.
Yeah,
I can't remember what it was called.
Neither can I remember it. It was a pretty good book.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed that one for sure. That and Aftermath trilogy were the best.
Definitely.
So yeah, so you know they sent him out. I don't know what they were just searching for water, I guess, but they came across a outpost home that was being, you know, roughed up by some other raiders. So we see that there are other gangs out there collecting water tribute for some other force. In the TV spots that we've seen, we see a table filled with crime lords or other bosses of some sort. Do you think those are all from Tatooine? Do you think this is going to be localized here on this planet, or do you think it's going to expand out beyond that?
I want to say it's probably just going to be Tatooine, because I mean, I don't know if there's any plans to do further seasons of this. I thought it was just sort of a one shot. Yeah. So it'd be kind of weird unless it's going to tie into the other series to have like the bigger bosses, you know, like Crimson Dawn, right. Shit like that come in. I mean, that would be great, especially if we got to see the droid Gatra. Like,
that'd be dope.
Fucking desperately want that.
Me too. Ever since that Han Lando Last Shot novel, I just want to see it so bad.
Absolutely.
Do you think we're going to see Han Solo?
No, probably not. Sorry, I was trying to think timeline. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it would really make sense to have him out right now, but
yeah, it depends on when he left Leia.
Yeah,
you know, I mean, they're constantly fighting. It seems like, but I don't know. I like the Legends version, the EU version, where they argued and stuff, but they stayed together.
Yeah, they were like the fucking power couple. Yeah.
And they just change it all to like, no, they hate each other. They leave. Like, what?
Yep, he liked stealing shit and she liked going against governments. So, wah, wah.
She's a rebel. Yeah, so when they come back and the kid is like sort of saying he killed it and the chieftain knows, he's like, all right, well, I know. Thanks, man. And he gives him water. I was like, so that's how it happens. He gets grudging respect at first, and then ultimately they're going to make him one of the tribe. Very, very Dances with Wolves.
Yeah. And you know what? That's like, I mean, aside from the fact, like, I'm just excited for the fucking season.
Mhm.
Like, that's what I'm excited to see is the progression of him becoming one of them, because by the time we see him in The Mandalorian, I mean, there's no doubt of what he is.
Mhm.
Like, he's got that Gaddafi stick, and he's using it better than like anybody else out there could. And it's like, yeah, you don't have that kind of shit and use that kind of shit unless you fucking know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm really excited to see that progression.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. Um, but going back to like sort of the real world aspects of it, we kind of leave with him in the back to tank, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's clearly going to be a reaction. Fennec Shand ended up catching one of the assassins.
Mm-hmm.
They may be able to get some information from him. I'm sure they will,
Mm-hmm.
which will probably lead them to the mayor or some sort of retaliation on the mayor, sort of tit for tat. Um, what do you want to happen in the future?
Oh, just a big badass like city leveling battle.
Oh wow.
Like that's, I mean, that kind of seems where it might go.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're dealing, the real government versus the, underground government. Somebody's got to be in power. Somebody actually has to take control.
Yeah.
And I mean, just from the get go, the mayor seems like, this guy's a fucking pushover. This is, my turn to be truly in charge.
Yeah, I mean, the more vulnerability that we're seeing from Boba Fett as a crime lord, and again, this is the very beginning, so there's going to be a little learning curve. I think the more other crime lords are going to disparage and try to sort of step in and take him out or take over what he's trying to claim in Mos Espa. But I don't know. I feel like he needs more than 2 Gamorrean guards and Fennec Shand.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I don't know what the hell is going on, but he needs to hire some people.
Mm.
So, I don't know. I see this going more down the line of a gangster series than like a war battle series.
Probably.
I'm just getting this sort of quiet vibe. I don't think we're going to see anything like we did in Mandalorian season 2 when he's just like messing people up constantly and stuff. I think this is going to be a little bit more drama, political, which I'm okay with. I mean, as long as we have little skirmishes like we had in the first episode and we get a little bit of flashback and stuff like that, then I'm okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think, because I think it was like 5 years he was with the Tuscan Raiders, or at least a number of years he was with them, and he knew Cobb Vanth had the armor. Do you think he was ever even intending to get the armor back until Din Djarin took it?
I don't know. I would imagine that if he would have got it, because, I mean, Cobb Vanth's awesome and all, but it's fucking Boba Fett.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, I tend to think that he was content with how it was being used, at least for the moment. And it would be weird if the day he decides to go get it back is the day that Din Djarin takes it.
Yeah, that'd be a hell of a coincidence.
That's a little weird. Do you think it was his tribe of Tuscan Raider that went and fought that Krayt Dragon with Din Djarin and Cobb Vanth? Like, how intertwined is this going to end up being?
Yeah, I mean, if it is, that's fucking cool. Didn't recognize any of them.
Yeah, what if he was one of the Tuscan Raiders?
Yeah, they were very distinct. Well, he was in black, so we would have known.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. I don't necessarily want it to be. I don't need it that tight,
Yeah, then it just kind of seems like they're trying too hard.
Mm-hmm. All right, so what was your least favorite moment?
Like I said, the Gamorreans, like them just kind of bamfing out of the picture. Mm-hmm. It just didn't seem right to me.
I don't like the muscular Gamorrean. I don't like in season 2 when like that first episode, he was like super built and they were like boxing and stuff. I don't know, for whatever reason, I like the Gamorrean with some weight to him. The buffed out Gamorrean just looks off. It doesn't look right.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It is definitely interesting to get used to.
Yeah, that kind of bugs me. What did you have a favorite moment of this?
Oh Christ. Honestly, like mostly just the flashbacks. Like that's really what I want to see. I want to
Yeah.
see them bridge the gap from, Return of the Jedi to Mandalorian season 2, and because that's something I feel like we're not getting with Star Wars anymore, is filling in those gaps, because these are years and years that
Yeah.
we're missing. So I'm really excited for that.
Yeah, I think my favorite moment was it was the opening. Like him
Mhm.
getting out of the Sarlacc pit and then getting his ass handed to him by Jawas.
Mhm.
It was just so perfect. Like, of course
Yeah.
he's gonna get taken. He almost died. Like his whole face is scarred up from intestinal fluid. Like
Hmm.
he's messed up right now. And just seeing the scavengers be scavengers was so great. I really really enjoyed that. I couldn't imagine how they could have made it any better, or
Yeah.
different or whatever. I just thought it was perfect.
Hmm.
Um, so we talked a little bit about wanting what we want from the future. Is there anything else you wanted to expand on in that?
No, not really. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. I want to see the progression. I want to see him turn into what he is.
Yeah. Sads is saying, thanks for joining live, by the way. Most off moment for them was the urgency to get to the Bacta.
See,
Like,
I believe it though. Like you got it. Cause I had this discussion with somebody last night because I had a friend call me up confused as fuck.
meh,
Like it makes sense because I mean, one, you saw the damage that was done to him in the Sarlacc, and I mean that's something that we don't know how long that shit takes to get over. I mean, it could be like a spider bite where it's like out of your system pretty fast, or it could be like a fucking gnarly ass virus where it just lingers in your system forever and slowly beats you down.
mhm.
Um, Plus, I mean, fuck, he just got the shit kicked out of him, and he's a fucking old man. Like, and you gotta fucking help him somehow.
Yeah, he says he has some kind of clone sickness. I didn't think
Mhm.
about that.
And you know what? That would make sense too, because even though he was a different kind of clone, I mean, he's still a fucking clone.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if we look into EU, then it was very much clones aged rapidly, whether they were,
Hmm.
no matter what, whether they were modified or not. It was like the
Hmm.
Emperor could not keep a dang body because they aged too quickly.
Yeah.
So that's why he needed so many. So it is interesting that Boba Fett is able to maintain, and maybe it's only because of his Bacta regiment that he's
Hmm.
able to maintain. But again, he was in intestinal juices for
Hmm.
who knows how long.
Well,
That's going to
plus,
take a
I mean,
toll.
living with the Tuscan Raiders, I mean,
Yeah,
that's gotta definitely
it's a
take a
hard
toll. Because I
life.
mean, they've had a millennia or more to develop into the creatures that they are. Because they were once subterranean creatures before the world kind of was destroyed, and then they had no choice but to come out.
Yeah, back in the day, Tatooine was a lush jungle planet.
Hmm.
It just totally shifted throughout the millennia. So yeah, I mean, I think we're probably going to get more answers about that. My
Yeah.
my hopes is
Oh,
that
definitely.
it expands. I don't want this to be isolated to Mos Espa and Tatooine. I
Hmm.
want this to feel like he's becoming a crime lord. Like Jabba had his fingers out there in the Outer Rim. It wasn't just
Oh yeah.
isolated. And I want Boba Fett to be the same way. I want him to have that weight and gravity to his name, amongst all of the other criminals around, like Boba Fett's back. Oh, I want that to
Yeah.
exist. And right now, I don't really think it does at all. And we're seeing that
No,
because
definitely
a
not.
mayor, a stupid town mayor,
Hmm.
is standing up to him. So he needs to be squashed. They need to do something.
Yeah.
I want it to be bigger. And I would love to see like a Lando cameo and a Han Solo cameo,
Yeah.
because they're criminals, they're smugglers. Like that is what they do for a living. And even right now, Lando, he's working with the droid Gatra a little bit, and he's manufacturing droids, or at least he's starting to get into that. Han Solo, he's working with Leia to help try to formulate the new Republic or whatever. But there is this
Hmm.
interim where he could find himself needing to go to a sort of a criminal element in order to, I don't know, get weapons, munitions, whatever. I'd love to see it.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. So Sad is saying it needs to be out for hut space for all in Tatooine. We will have Kenobi. Yeah. Yeah, and I think Kenobi's actually going to go off world too, because he's
Hmm.
going to have to face off against Darth Vader again. We know he's going to be in it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's all I really had for this. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about?
No, we got it covered.
Yeah. Well, thanks for tuning in live again, Sads. We really appreciate you. And we're going to be doing these episodes every Monday. We usually do them in the evening. We just had a scheduling conflict today. But every Monday, after the episode airs, we're gonna do spoiler discussions about the episode, dive in, get our fingers dirty, and really sort of try to have a little bit of fun and extrapolate on this universe that we all love so much of Star Wars. So thank you all so much for tuning in. Please, if you're not subscribed, we'd appreciate it if you did. If you want to find out when the next video is going to be, click that little bell. And, of course, like the video. We hope to see you again. And until the Infernal Brotherhood convenes again, my fellow scruffy-looking Nerf Herders, may the Force be with you.
No hard feelings, mate.
And Boba Fett shows up in chat.
Oh, of course. As soon as